Shabbat Shalom. Wait. Check, check. You just changed the batteries. Hello? Check, check.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be on. Oh, you don't want to be on TV.
You're on TV?
Yeah.
Check, check. Check, check. Hello, Vivian, can you hear me? Vivian, can you hear me? Hello? Vivian, can you hear me? Jennifer, can you hear me? Oh, Vivian, you're muted. Check, check, check. Jennifer, you can hear me? Okay. All right. Hey, Tanta. Okay. I'm a little bit nervous that my microphone. That doesn't sound on. Oh, no, yes, it does. Hello. What wall? Oh, yes. It's because I chase a 1-year-old around for much of my day. Tani, please don't play with the cord. No, thank you. No, thank you, cord. Tatan, come here. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, Guy, this is why. Hello. No, you say, excuse me, Shelly. No. He is. All right. Did I see what? No, what photo? All right, well, Shabbat Shalom. We're going to be starting our service in just a couple minutes. People are still heading inside from dinner. Oh, nice. That's awesome. All right. Taking that out. Okay. Where'd it go? Oh, it's not there. Oh, well. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I want to ensure everyone that I do not bite. And thank Sharon for sitting in the first row. No, no, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm sure that we are going to be joined by others as people start to come in, especially from the Gaga court. The allure of dodgeball is strong. So let's all start this evening with a little bit of Shalom Aleichem. We can find the words for Shalom Aleichem on page 6. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Monin, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem leshalom malachei hashalom. Hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Page 8. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma hatov shevet achim gam yachad. Come on in. Hine ma tov shevet achayot gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achayot gam yachad. Shabbat shalom. I have in my hand an egg shaker that says shake it up on Shabbat. If you too would like to pray both with your voices and with a little bit of rhythm, or maybe you're more of a rhythm person than a voice person, come on over. And in the center, we have a big basket of egg shakers. There are also a few drums if you are someone who is good at the beat. If you're David Zangwill, you just bring your own. It's true. And we are going to, so I want to invite us, so for, I guess for those of you who are new to Or Hadash or checking us out for the first time, because that is what happens this time of year, for the first Friday of the month, we do what is called a three-part harmony, which is, the first part is Tat Shabbat, the second part is a community dinner, and the third part is an intergenerational Shabbat service. Usually that third part starts at 7 and not 7:30, so it is much more intergenerational. I know, because everyone loves to schmooze. No, we planned to start this one at 7:30. It's more like 7:45, but we'd already started. We're already 2 songs in, dude. Yeah. Whoa. And not that every Friday night is not a musical and spirited service, but on the first Friday even more so, because we come together as a full community. We also, you will notice, use a prayer book that is a different color from the usual. Also thinner. Pictures in it. Right, we use our youth Sidur Kol HaNoar, which is the Reconstructionist movement's youth Sidur, which has in it, among other things, readings, kavanot, poetry, that were written by children across the Reconstructionist movement, including students from Or Hadash. Now, those students from Or Hadash are almost old enough now to have children in Smile School. But that's just what happens over time. Rabbi Aaron, were you part of creating this Sidur? Chetzi. Yeah, right? I'm like, I think I have that era correct. So tonight we are all Shabbat candles for us tonight, just to light the candles. We'll all say the bracha together, but to bring some new light into this year as we kick off our year together. Rabbi Aaron. What? Oh, I'll do the match. All right. We'll do it together. It's a moment of togetherness. Yeah, and then I broke the match, so clearly I can't do it either. How many rabbis does it take to light a candle? Oops, try that again. Yeah, neither of us know how to light a Shabbat candle. There we go. Now, yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat. Page 9. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litzchila, la 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hi, ay, na, 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 hey, na, na, yeah, na, yeah, na, hey, na, 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 yeah, na, na, hey, na, 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 yeah, na, 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. I want to invite us to rise in spirit or in body and face the entrance that you came in this evening, whether it's that one, whether maybe you came in that entrance because you were chasing my toddler child, as we greet the Shabbat bride through all the many ways that we come to this place and this space. Bo'ui v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzochala, toch emunei am segula, bo'ui chala, la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, ei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela, la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. There's a story. There is. There are a couple of stories. But this particular one is about a little kid. Who has a name for him? What should his name be? Josh? Fred. Fred Shua. His name was Fred Shua. Just go with me. There you go. And little Fred Shua.
Hey, Rabbi,
Yes?
if it's okay with you, can you take your mask off so we can hear you better?
Yes. That is true. Thank you. For accessibility purposes, I am going to take my mask off so that people who need to read lips and things like that can see them. Thank you. So there was a little kid. His name was Fred Shua. And Fred Shua was a little bit nervous. He was about to start at a new school. His family was new to the area, and he was nervous because as he walked past the schoolyard, he heard everybody singing the words to all the prayers. This was like the Hebrew schoolyard. All the words to the prayers, but he didn't know them. And Fred Shua saw kids like playing around, and they had all these games. They knew exactly what to do. They knew all the rules of Gaga, but he didn't know them. And so Fred Shua was missing home, and he didn't really know what to do. But he did know how to do one thing really, really well. He knew how to play a flute. In fact, he was very good at playing the flute. He was a little bit of a virtuoso. But he'd lived in this town now for about 3 weeks, and no one that he passed seemed to play flute. And he would sit under a tree and play flute, and people would look at like, what are you doing, man? Get a practice room. So he felt a little out of place. Time went on, and everyone seemed, again, to know exactly what they were doing except for him, and he felt a little out of beat, like everybody knew that it was time to rise in spirit or in body for Baruch. See? And Fred Shua just looked around, he didn't really know. Page 10, the Baruch. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. We can be seated. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech. We can do that. Golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei. Or roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day. I'm not doing it backwards. See, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei. Or last time, roll in. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Elechai v'kayam davinu chalenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamari v'aravim. A small star, page 12. Let's all read together. A small star is shooting through the sky, but I don't know its name, only that it radiates light through a deep, dark sky. Through my window you shine, a stream of light, a nighttime rainbow, lighting up the wandering path. Don't hide behind a cloud. Keep shooting, my little star. And so, Fred Shua kept on like that little star, trying to shoot through the sky, but he kept getting more and more disheartened. I guess he did learn the rules to Gaga. I know, right? Give it up for Fred Shua. And thank you. That's. I mean, I guess you guys really like Gaga, and we're really excited to play with him. Okay, fair. And he started to make friends at school, but as the first few weeks of the school year went on and the leaves started falling from the trees, Rosh Hashanah kept getting closer. And Fred Shua kept hearing his classmates and how they all knew the Hebrew alphabet and how to put them together into words and even some of the words of the prayers, and he started to get really, really nervous because he knew that like high holiday services are like a really big deal, and like there's lots of prayers and lots of Hebrew, and he didn't know what to do, and so he started getting very stressed out. And when he got stressed out, the thing that he did was he played his flute. He found a few other kids around who maybe dabbled in musical instruments, but they all complained about practicing. And they all whined when their lessons were coming, like, I don't want to play this piece that my teacher wants me to play, right? And so he kind of felt different from them, and he sat every day under his tree playing his flute. And he still got weird looks, but he felt more at peace and more at his center, kind of like when you put your hand over your eyes, you get really quiet, and you open your ears for the Shema, and you can feel everyone else also getting quiet around you until you're ready for Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohim. Page 16. Bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meotecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha ולכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. Page 22. Song of liberation, a song of freedom, a song that we sing when we feel as free as Fred Shua did when he sat under the tree playing his flute. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha. That's true. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha nedar bakodesh nora teilot oseh velen nora teilot oseh velen malchutecha rauvanecha bokeaya livnei Moshe zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch leolam va'et Adonai imloch leolam va'et v'namar ki v'adonai et Yaakov u'galo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 23. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim. But that sense of calm and centering didn't last for long, because before long it was Rosh Hashanah. And as, I know, drum roll, right? Okay, no drum roll necessary. And as Fred Shua watched everyone file into services on Rosh Hashanah and pick up literally the fattest prayer book he had ever seen in his life, like that thing must have had 956 pages or something, his heart filled with dread. What would he do? He couldn't follow along. Every time he looked at the letters, they just swam across the page. I mean, he liked the things that it said below the line and in the back of the book, but that wasn't what the other people in the room were saying. He asked his mom if he could put his flute inside her tallis bag. And she said, okay, sure. I mean, don't play it. Usually we don't play flutes in synagogue. And Fred Shua said, but it'll make me feel better to know that we have it. And so it sat in the tallis bag on Erev Rosh Hashanah, and then on Rosh Hashanah morning, and everyone was singing, and Fred Shua just felt like there was something missing. And so he kind of slipped out the back of the synagogue and into like the woods right next door, kind of right in between like the synagogue and that school next door. Let's call it Squarefald. Fairwald? No? Anyway, that school next door. Really, yeah, stay with me here. And he sat under a tree. It wasn't his usual tree, but it was a tree. And he had the flute, and he started playing. About 20 minutes later, the rabbi walked over. You would think this is strange because it was Rosh Hashanah. Wouldn't the rabbi be up there? But it was the president's appeal. Sorry, Barry. And the rabbi had noticed that Fred Shua had walked out and wanted to check. And then, what was the rabbi's name? We need to crowdsource a name. No, we've already heard from you guys. Somebody else. What was the rabbi's name? Let's pick a rabbi. Sarah. The rabbi, whose name was Sarah. That's a much more normal name than Fred Shua, thank you. No, but Fred Shua was the right name. Oh, yeah, it was a family name. That's good, yeah. He is the fifth, Fred Shua the fifth. Okay, there were going to be 10 Fred Shuas. Good to know. There's a sequel coming in a couple of months. So the rabbi, whose name was Sarah, went up to this little guy sitting under a tree playing his flute and said, hey, Shana Tova, it's really good to see you. And Fred Shua looked up and said, I'm sorry that I left the service. I shouldn't have done that. That was really the wrong choice. And it's really, am I going to be this is a really bad way to start the new year. I'm sorry, Rabbi. Hi. And the rabbi said, no. I mean, maybe, but why did you come on out? And he said, because I felt like I couldn't pray in there. And she asked, why? He said, because I don't know any of those words, and the letters don't make sense to me, and they all swim all around on the page, and it's like I don't know what's going on, but everything makes sense when I play my flute. And so she said, so come on back in with your flute. And he said, what? I can't come back in with my flute. No one else has a flute. Literally no one else has a flute. And she said, come on. Come back in with your flute. And so he went back in with his flute. And the president was just about to come and sit down after what I can only imagine was an incredibly impassioned and powerful, inspirational appeal like no shul president has ever given before. And the rabbi stepped back onto the bima, looked at Fred Shua and winked and said, just give me a second. And she invited everyone to rise in spirit or in body for the Amidah. Which is silent in the evening, so it was not silent that morning on Rosh Hashanah morning because that's where I set this story. But if you want the liturgy to be able to say a slightly fuller Amidah tonight silently, it begins on page 70. In the morning service, if you just want a lovely poem about finding God or some ideas about giving thanks and silent prayers of our hearts, you can stay with me on page 28 and 29. We take a second for silent prayer. Adonai, wafted across the full sanctuary as everyone sat down from their silent prayer at the end of the Amidah, after all the extended pieces of that Rosh Hashanah Amidah that they made their way through, the sound of Fred Shua's flute still echoing in their ears, everyone turned to look at the little boy standing at his seat with the shining silver flute. They looked at him, and they smiled, and they realized that they had just heard the prayer that completed all the rest of their prayers. So when they all came back for Yom Kippur, their talis bags all had sort of funny shapes. Some of them had egg shakers, some of them had hand drums, some of them had like thumb pianos, and some people had things that didn't even fit in talis bags, like violin cases, harmonicas that had a little neck strap so that they could daven and also play back and forth. And Rabbi Sarah wasn't really sure about this can of worms that she'd opened up. But in turn, she nodded at each person or group of people that it was the right time to let their music shine forth and their voice be heard. And together, that symphony all started by a little guy who wasn't sure if he had a spot. Made everyone able to embrace the prayer in their own hearts, the prayer that no Siddur committee could ever know to write down, the prayer that felt right to them. And after Yom Kippur, Fred Shua didn't feel so alone. He noticed that under all the other trees, he saw people playing Magic the Gathering. And he saw people doing dance during services in the aisles, and he saw people writing poetry and standing up to recite it. And even though he'd never written a poem in his life, his flute vibrated with joy every time, because he knew that he had found his home. We're going to turn to the inside cover of our Siddur, where the words for our Mishaberach, our prayer for healing, can be found. Our Mishaberach is a prayer for healing of body and mind, but it's also a prayer for healing of spirit. Do you not have a Mishaberach in there? Oh, weird. I have one in mine. Near the pig sticker? Oh, there it is. Phew. If you ever find that you don't have a stickered version of a book, set it aside so that we can know which ones aren't stickered. Just a point of, yeah. But also the Mishaberach is a prayer of healing for the spirit. And I want to invite us for this Mishaberach L'cholim. We're going to share the names of people who we're thinking of for healing that I have here on my list. And as my eyes meet yours, I want to invite you to share names of those who you're thinking of for healing. But I want us to also center our thoughts on people who are in need of healing, like emotionally and spiritually and mentally, because that's something that's in need of healing as well. And sometimes we ourselves are in need of healing. And it's okay to share your own name too, or for a friend to share your name with permission. Because that's what it means to be in community, to let us hold one another in times when we need a little bit of healing. So this evening we're thinking of and setting our hopes and energy for healing and wholeness to Andrea Abrams-Herbert, James Alberts, Fran Anderson, Roberta Archibald, Joan Axelroth, Arden Bell, Barry Bell, Carol Mueller-Bell, Rabbi Deborah Bowen, Robin Kupo, Frankie Deaver, Marcy Fish, Joan Flaherty, Joaquim Gaybell, Eric Gershman, Jonathan Giannini, Cordula Hamish, Sharon Cass, Moss Kaufman, Beverly and Howard Kaufman, Fran Kaufman, Dr. Joy Layden, Sandy Lewis, Robert Mueller, Anthony Nero, Lisa Nicholson, Stan Pollock, Joel Popkin, Abby Rosenberg, Mike Rosenberg, Shelley Sanders, Marlene Sortino, Howard Temple, Lynn Van Engel, Brandy Wasliewski, Stan Weckstein, Millie Weissman, Grace Zangwill, Eileen Zeff, and CJ. And Jen or Vivian, do you have anyone? Okay. And Dorothy Berlin. Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Kiddush. So we're going to rise in spirit or in body for Kiddush on page 32. But we have a tradition at Or Hadash that we actually developed during the pandemic. So in our online Friday night services, and it has now carried over IRL, as they say. Indeed. Here on site. And that is that at the Kiddush, we also raise up our glass and fill it with all of the blessings that people are celebrating in their lives, whether it's a birthday, publication of a new book, graduation, starting a new school, starting a new job, celebrating an exciting transition in your lives, retirements, what have you, new cars. We've had new wheelchairs. So if you're celebrating something that you want us to raise up a glass for a l'chaim in this community, I want to invite you to shout it out. Jules. Yes. Jillian. Tonight did go well. Tonight is going well. New school. Starting middle school. Woo! Sharon. What? 2 new jobs. Yeah. Anyone else celebrating something exciting? Bina is not here, but I'll share. She lost her second tooth. I'll share for her. Others. David celebrates more things. Being here all together tonight. Being here. We'll raise it up for a l'chaim. And so, oh wait, was there more? Oh, I missed something. What, where, who? Thea. I'm like, who, what, where? You, oh, you. Yes, Thea. Oh, about to become a madrich. Yes. Amazing. Yay. And so we fill our cup with all of that sweetness as together we rise in spirit or in body for Kiddush, raising it up as a l'chaim for everybody. And Jen Hovland, are you davening at a fire pit tonight? I feel like Jennifer is outside at her fire pit, which is something exciting to celebrate. Yes? Yeah, that's amazing. If you can't be in the synagogue, you should definitely be at a campfire. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava uvrat yinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila. Let me cry, Kodesh, Zecher Letziat Mitzrayim, Ki Eleinu Karata Ve'otanu Kidashta, La'avodatecha, Ve'shabbat Kodshecha, Be'ahava Uvratzon, Hinchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh Hashem. And we're going to stay just like this as we turn the page to Aleinu on page 34. Aleinu l'shabech l'dahon hakol l'teit gedula leotzer breshit shenatan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betocheinu v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We can be seated. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 36, and one of the things that's really special about Mourner's Kaddish at an intergenerational service is that we remember not only the people on our Yortzeit list, but as we look around the room, we know how many people in this room across every generation carry with them the name of someone in their family, usually who passed before they were born, whose life and whose legacy they continue through bringing that name forward into a subsequent generation. If you are named after someone, can you just raise up your hand? Look around. If you are named after someone that you personally never had an opportunity to meet, keep your hand up. Yeah. So I want to invite you to put your hands down. There's something really special about marking a yahrzeit in community when you look around and you notice the constellation of people who stand on the same week as you, and you're kind of in that community together, that sub-community. There's also something really special about looking down the generations and seeing a family tree just sprout new leaves that carry on names from generation to generation. Does anyone want to share just like really quickly like who they're named after? Is there anyone for whom that's like really special to them? Yeah, David. Oh, that's really special. Wait, did somebody have their hand up over there? What? Oh, repeat it. David's named after his uncle Don, who died a year before he was born, and it's almost like he went up to God and said, "Hey, give these people a kid," and then a year later, David was born, and then got named after Don. I love it. Does anyone else want to share just really quick, like a snippet of who they're named after? Yeah, Philip, who are you named after? Your great-grandpa Phil. Nice. Zoe. Your mom's two grandmothers. I love it. Someone who's not a kid want to share who they're named after? No, because it's not. That was the thing. Like, it's not just kids who are named after kids. Jed, who are you named after?
I was named after my great-grandfather.
Your great-grandfather. Nice. Who else? Maybe like two more. Yeah, Steph.
My grandfather, Samuel.
Your grandfather Samuel.
My great-grandmother, Molly.
Your great-grandmother Molly. Yeah. Your grandfather Joseph. Nice. And so, adding to all of those, yeah. Oh, wait, was there one more? Oh, sorry, Elias. Yeah, you're facing away from me. I can't hear you at all, bud. You're like, One more time. Nice, your great-grandma Eleanor, and who else was it? There was great-grandma Eleanor. Nice. Nice. And so we notice all of the people that we carry with us into this space, and we add to all of their memories those whose yahrzeits we observe this week. We are marking the anniversaries of the passing of Ernest Kane, father of Vivian Kane, Rachel Myers, niece of Penny Levin, Goldie Schechter, aunt of Betty Kahn, Bernard Levin, father of Penny Levin, Myrna Morris, mother of Bernice Morris, who was here earlier tonight, which I suppose is also grandmother of Thea Cooper Smith, Jean Davis, mother of Rich Davis, Rosa Caruso, friend of Marianne and Joe Adler, and Goldie Levin, mother of Penny Levin, and also thinking of Carolyn Savitsky, who lost her mother yesterday afternoon. She's not yet saying Kaddish because the funeral will be on Wednesday of this coming week with Shiva on Wednesday night and Thursday. But we are thinking of Carolyn at this and her family at this time. So is anyone else saying Kaddish for anyone whose name is not on the list or for whom they're still in like a period of mourning? Yeah. Nice. Anyone else saying Kaddish? All right, so I'm going to invite mourners and those observing a yahrzeit to rise in spirit or in body for mourners Kaddish, along with those whose tradition it is to rise for Kaddish. Page 36. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha. A couple of quick messages and announcements in case you haven't heard it enough times. Our quick reminder that Smile School begins this Sunday. But I think we've probably all gotten the memo by now. And I'm super excited for that first day of Smile School. So a few other messages. There is a green flyer that is out. That green flyer in the, I think like on the little round table, lists all of the various Chavarot and groups that exist at Or Hadash. So, hey, just stop it. If you are interested in joining a Chavarah, from folk singing to the anti-racist task force, to a book group, to there's something, really, Monday evening Torah study, hiking and walking, Holocaust education, our choir, the Makela, though you should really join after Yom Kippur. Why? Because they've already started practicing high holidays. Yes. Who will be recruiting for new members right after Yom Kippur, which is super exciting. This is the first time the Makela has been recruiting new members since the pandemic. And our choir is coming back in person. I guess they technically came back in person at the annual meeting at the end of last year. And we'll be recruiting new members after the high holidays. Right, so grab one of these fabulous green sheets to figure out how to join one of our lay-led chavurot, which are kind of like congregant-led clubs of the synagogue. If you don't see something but know that it's something that you're interested in and others will be too, be in touch with, I don't know, either like Barry or Jillian, let's say president or membership, about how to start a chavurah. Because we don't have like a Hebrew speakers chavurah or a Magic the Gathering chavurah, now that it's the second time I've mentioned magic, or right, like a board gamers chavurah, right? There are lots of different reasons to gather, and all we need is some like-minded people. D&D chavurah, there we go, right? So get some friends together across generations and start a group. And so be in touch with one of the contacts or with Barry or Jillian for more information about how to start a group if you don't see something that exists. Next Friday night is the Shabbat of study on reparations. So the Reconstructionist movement at the Reconstructing Judaism Plenum later this fall is going to take up a movement-wide resolution on reparations. They are asking every congregation to engage in some study, both on the topic of reparations for African Americans and also on the resolution itself, in order to provide feedback to the Tikkun Olam Commission as we prepare to talk about this resolution. And so our anti-racist task force, led by Elisa Belzer, has arranged a really wonderful Shabbat of study next week. Friday night services will have two fabulous speakers, one of whom is on the Tikkun Olam Commission. And Shabbat morning Torah study will also be dedicated to the topic of reparations, but through the lens of Jewish texts, especially the weekly Torah portion. And then on Saturday night, which is also Slichot, we will engage with the resolution itself and move through that process into our musical Slichot service and ritual. You need not attend all three events. 2 out of 3 or even 1 out of 3 is great. But it promises to be a really wonderful weekend of study, of engagement with the themes of systemic racism and reparations, and what it means to think about reparations from a Jewish perspective as a community that has also faced inequality and systemic inequality within several iterations of Jewish civilization. The only part that requires RSVP is Friday night, because we're ordering dinner for everybody, so we want to know numbers. Saturday morning, it's helpful to know so we know like how many dozens of bagels to order. Are we like a 3 dozen, a 4 dozen, a 1.5 dozen? It's hard to know. But Friday night, we really do need numbers. Please let Nadine in the office know like by Wednesday. A few questions, yes?
Is it possible to engage in any of these virtually?
Yes. I think all 3 parts will have digital components, but especially Friday night and Saturday morning, I need to figure out how we're going to do Saturday night digitally. I will get back to you. Yes, let's figure out how we're going to do Saturday night digitally. Yes, Len. Yes, the text of the resolution should have been in Kesher this week, but I'm going to put out a standalone email on Sunday as well, and the resolution will be linked to that, as well as a couple of articles. So yes, definitely. Great question. A few other messages and announcements. On Sunday morning, October 2nd, which I know is strange because I just made an announcement about something that's after Rosh Hashanah without mentioning Rosh Hashanah. Weird. Is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's Out of Darkness Walk. Darcy Lindy has in partnership with our Suicide Prevention Task Force, started an Or Hadash team called Carry the Light. There are flyers here as well as pieces in Hakesher and on the website to figure out how to join the team. So we are going to be walking together as a synagogue team in the Out of Darkness Walk on the 2nd. High holidays are coming up. So like the 25th, 26th, 27th of September, Rosh Hashanah, the 4th and 5th of October, Yom Kippur, high holiday registration materials are out. This week and next week, expect calls from your friendly neighborhood board member. If you have not sent back in your volunteer forms for readings and shofar blowing and ushering and ark openings and lifting the Torah and all those wonderful things, we are a synagogue where where like our services are their fullest when everyone participates in some way. So please do answer the call to volunteer for the high holidays this year. There are things for every age and stage during the high holidays. You can see the registration materials for more information or talk to Rabbi Aaron about ways to enjoy the high holidays, both in and out of services, in and out of activities. And there will also be some interactive pieces hidden throughout the synagogue for people to engage in, even while not in a room with a formal service. So keep your eyes open for that. Last and certainly not least, there are 2 classes that are going on right now. The first is online. It's Zoom into Elul. It is every Thursday from 12:30 to 1 on Zoom during what I guess used to be called a lunch break, but now people have been pushing back on me on that one, that we don't get lunch breaks anymore. We just eat lunch when it happens. But targeted around what used to be a lunch break, to connect with community. We chant a little bit, we read a poem, we check in, and we work through this, we meet and hang out through this month of preparation for the high holidays together on Zoom. The other is on Wednesday afternoons from 2 to 3:30. We are reading together Rabbi Tova Spitzer's book, God is Here, and talking contemporary theology through various metaphors for the divine. We are only 1 week into that class, so it is not too late to join. There will likely be another iteration of a similar class on a weekend at some point, possibly in the spring. We're doing an experiment with during the day stuff, so if you're not a during the day person or like you have a job during the day, this is not a new trend. This is just doing different things at different times. Is it a Monday night Torah study week? I do not think it is. I think this is the off week for Monday night Torah study. And so I think that those are all of the messages that I'm going to give for tonight. Barry, do you have any messages that it is important to give? Wonderful. Assembly. Yeah. Wonderful. So, before we end with our closing song, I want to say a quick happy birthday to our summer and September birthdays. So if your names are, not everyone is here, I'm going to shout out everybody like under the age of 18 unless you have a birthday that ends in like a 0 or a 5. Eitan Sklover Kersner, Levi Goodstein, Zahara Lavenberg, Avi Goodman, Stephen Cohen and Charlie Cohen, Thea Cooper Smith, Sammy Perchik, come back people, Howie Learn, Shane Karp, Hazel Harris, Stephen Ross, Lucy Raisman, Rabbi Elise Wechterman, had a birthday that ends in a 5. You did. I have that on the 24th of July, you had a birthday that ended in a 5. Yeah, you. That's you. Nico Shapiro, Rich Davis, Stephanie Fields, Max Himlas, Jonah Wilbur, Ella Lindy, James Clare, Evie Lindy, Asher Ginsberg, Nick Frumpkin had a birthday ending in a 0. Sydney Smart, Rabbi Vivian hit her 80th birthday. We need to all celebrate. Liam Smart, Stephen Weissman, Margot, Lindy, Milo, Wachtel, Sammy Mitica has a birthday coming up later this month, as do Eden Perchik, Adam McLaughlin, and David Zangwill. Come on down. For your birthday pencils, that includes you, Nick Frumpkin. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Want a pencil? To you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Woo! Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. So if you are part of that summer birthday group, Steve Ross, I think I mentioned your name. Yeah, grab a birthday pencil. Just go like this. No. If you are part of that group, stand up for 1 second. Stand up for 1 second. Misha Beirach, Hamotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, V'Yaakov, Yimotenu Sarivka, Rachel, V'Leah. May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all of you who have had birthdays this summer and who have birthdays in September, who have birthdays during this time of growth, renewal, and turning over. May just as your birthday months fall during a time of change between one school year and the next, change between one school and the next, change between one season and the next, and span over the time of year when we do the most relaxing. Inspire all who you meet to take that deep breath, to enjoy the fresh air, to get out, to explore new things, and to grow. May your year be filled with new adventures and joy and blessing and love, and let us say, Amen. Yom Huledet Sameach, everybody. Happy birthday. And we are going to close with Achat Sha'alti, the psalm for our season, that we sing as we move through this month of Elul and through the month of Tishrei, the month that has all the high holidays in it. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota vakesh. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota vakesh. Shivti bevet Adonai kol yamei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker bechalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker bechalo. September do get to be in line first for birthday cake. But we can't have any birthday cake until we say Hamotzi. So here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon Shabbat shalom. And Jennifer, I'm like throwing you a piece of challah. Yeah, she caught it. Awesome. Shabbat shalom, everybody. We'll join in the community room and out on the covered patio for some oneg. Shabbat shalom.